So with the first patch of the season being live for a few days, we now have a very good idea of what the most impactful changes have been, and we've got a massive update to the tier list because of it. Certain under-the-radar changes have really led to some champions gaining mass amounts of power, so we'll be breaking everything down for you guys in today's video. And if you guys want to stay ahead of the meta for Season 16, then SkillCapped is the place to be. We've got a new course for this year that our Challenger players will be working on, and it revolves around keeping you up to date with all the new meta trends. As soon as we discover something new, you can expect a video to go live within that course, breaking down exactly what we found. Whether it be a new build, strategy, or rune setup, SkillCapped subscribers will be the first to know with access to this course. On top of this, we've got our weekly commentaries where our Challenger experts walk you through how to carry out of the exact rank you're stuck in. We always upload 10 brand new commentaries each week, but for the first week of the season, going live on January 12th, we're releasing 20 commentaries covering the best champions, so a ton of content for you to get ahead in Season 16. And then, of course, you'll get access to our entire catalog of premium courses as you'll be mastering wave control, vision, trading, and macro in no time. And the best part of it all is that we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee. Climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped or get your money back, no questions asked. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the top right corner of the screen or in the description below to get ahead of everyone else for Season 16. So we've had a hotfix patch go live on January 9th, and one item that ended up getting nerfed was Essence Reaver. AD went down from 55 to 50, while cost of the item was increased from 2,900 to 3,050. During our pre-patch tier list, we noted how if a certain item lands in a powerful spot, then it's likely just going to define the meta, and that was the case with Essence Reaver. All the best ADCs to start the patch were Essence Reaver users, while Gangplank was excelling as well. Nerf is actually pretty significant, so we can probably expect at least a 1% drop in win rate for all Essence Reaver users. So starting off up in the top lane, we have a few micro patch changes to discuss that have already been pushed to live servers, and the first one went to Quinn. We expected for Quinn to be a lot stronger to start the year, but it's not been the case thus far, so Riot has given her an AD growth buff going from 2.7 to 3.2 and a passive cooldown buff going from 8 to 7 seconds. So one thing we totally forgot to factor in when considering Quinn's strength for Season 16 was the fact that symbiotic souls were being removed from the game. This change really flew under the radar and is the big reason to why Quinn lost so much win rate. Role quests also penalized roaming early on because you need to be in your lane to acquire as much points as possible towards completing your quest, so that hurts Quinn quite a bit too. With these buffs going live, Quinn should be back up in a good spot, but she's not the S tier champ that we thought she would be to start the year, so she's being placed in A. So Riot decided to sneak a fast one on us and issue more Tryndamere nerfs than we were initially expecting, so our analysis on his power level going into the season wasn't very accurate. Originally on the PvE, Riot didn't have an E nerf lined up for Trynd, but they ended up shipping one, and then couple that with the fact that Trynd Q got weaker early game, and the champion's laning phase just got a lot weaker. On top of this, W got nerfed too, so everything just added up to leave Tryndamere in a pretty weak state to start the season. Riot has already gone ahead and issued a hotfix buff though, with W slow duration going from 2.5 to 3.25 seconds, and E base damage being increased from 70 scaling to 210 to 80 scaling to 240. Tryndamere's power level is likely to be bouncing all over the place over the next few patches while Riot tries to get him in a more balanced state, so for now, we'll be placing him in the top lane B tier. So it turns out that additional experience and an increased level cap disproportionately impacted Kayle more than most champs, as she shot up to holding the highest win rate in the game at the start of 26.1. The new top lane quest is amazing for Kayle because receiving extra experience helps her more than most champs just due to the fact that she gains significant power boosts by reaching level 11 and 16. It turns out Gunblade is also a viable item for Kayle too, so she was a big winner to start the year. Hotfix nerfs are already out on live servers as Riot reduced her passive attack speed as it no longer gives you 5% per 100 AP. Q mana cost went down early, but up later, while Q slow went down by 5% at max rank. So the big change is to Kayle's passive, and the fact it no longer provides attack speed that scales off her AP. In theory, this makes Rabadon's a bit weaker now, while increasing the relative power of Rageblade. Once we get a few days to collect data and actually see how impactful these nerfs have landed, we'll have a better idea of how build priority should shift, so we'll be sure to update you guys if anything changes. Kayle definitely started off the patch as an OP tier top laner, but with these nerfs coming through, we'll be placing her in S. So our theory for the top lane meta going to the patch was that more early game dominant picks would see a boost in relative power, and that has played out to some extent. Ignite top laners with strong early game kill threat are the ones seeing the most amount of success right now, as Riven, Kennen, Olaf, Pantheon, and Urgot are all performing very well and are placed up in the top lane S tier. At the same time though, scaling top laners definitely aren't dead, as Nasus and Mundo are performing a little better than we had expected. We were worried about Mundo just due to the fact that Ignite could be run way more often for this season because of the role quests, but his win rate has barely budged from where it ended last season, and we're moving him back into A tier as a result. In regards to where you should be taking Ignite or Exhaust over Teleport now, you should definitely consider it depending on your matchup. For example, in previous seasons, reasons, if you're playing a tank like Malphite or Ornn, then you would pretty much always default to teleport. In Season 16 though, because you have the free teleport unlock when you complete your quest, going Ignite on Ornn actually has a better win rate than teleport. This versatility just feels really nice because someone like Ornn actually has solid kill threat in lane in a lot of matchups, so being able to take Ignite just bolsters that further. Gangplank started off the patch in a really powerful spot due to Essence Reaver being OP, but with the item nerfed, he should come back down to earth a bit. Even if the Essence Reaver nerf leads to a 2% drop in win rate, Gangplank will still be a very solid top lane pickup, so for now, he's going to be placed in the S tier, but A is as low as we'd see him falling if Essence Reaver nerf does hit on the harsher side. Moving on to the jungle changes now, one jungler who has been hotfix buffed is Graves. So Graves ended up losing a bit more power than we expected from his passive crit nerf, so Riot has buffed it back up, going from 35 to 50%. AD junglers in general have lost some relative power compared to AP junglers for Season 16, and we'll go more into detail about that when covering the tier list section in a moment. The one jungler who has been hotfix nerfed is Rammus. Rammus has had his W magic resist lowered by 7 at all ranks, and base health has dropped from 675 to 645. So why was Rammus of all champions nerfed? Well, let's take a look at the jungle tier list and then break it all down. So one thing you're going to notice with the jungle tier list is that there are a plethora of junglers who deal magic damage in the OP and S tier. Whether it be a tank like Nunu, Zac, or Rammus, or a carry like Evelynn, Karthus, or Gwen, junglers who deal magic damage are dominating in Season 16. Even weak tank junglers from Season 15 like Skarner or Sejuani are finding way more success in Season 16. Now, why is this the case though? Well, there are a few different reasons. First is that Riot changed the resists on dragons, with armor going up from 21 to 34, while magic resist only went up from 30 to 32. Dragons now have more scaling armor relative to magic resist as well, so magic damage junglers have seen a relative boost in their ability to take dragons. Junglers also now take 50% less damage from non-epic monsters, so this just makes the clear of these tank junglers a lot more healthy, as staying healthy is something that they would struggle with relative to carry junglers in Season 15. It also means that invading is less viable, so if you're on a weaker early game pick like Evelynn, Rammus, or Zac, you're going to be healthier, so if that pesky Rengar or Lee Sin try to invade, then you have a much greater chance of surviving and not falling behind. All in all, scaling junglers or weaker early game junglers have become better, with invading becoming a lot more risky. The jungle quest reward, along with home guards now lasting longer when you come off a reset, is what's really making someone like Nunu or Rammus exceptionally strong though. So on quest completion, you gain 4% movement speed in the jungle or river, increased to 8% while out of combat. Bonus movement speed for someone like Nunu or Rammus to help with their ability to flank is incredibly powerful. And then a super underrated change is the fact that home guards no longer have a duration when you're coming out of base. Home guards won't fall off until you either enter your jungle, enter combat, or reach your furthest minion in lane. So if your wave is shoved up to the enemy's tier 2 tower in the mid game, your home guards won't wear off until you get all the way up there, as long as you travel through the lane. This is very key. You need to travel through lane. If you travel through your jungle, then home guards will wear off. So in knowing this, a champion like Nunu just benefits massively, because whenever he takes a reset, he's able to get back out on the map super fast and look for constant opportunities where he can find picks with his W. Even though most AD junglers ended up losing some win rate for Season 16, Nocturne is one who gained around 1% win rate, and we think that's likely due to those home guard changes. Just being out on the map faster enables you to capitalize on opportunities with Nocturne R more often, so the home guard changes were amazing for him. So overall, the common theme with the jungle meta right now is that AP junglers are the most powerful, while a lot of AD junglers are finding it a lot harder to succeed. Briar, who had been one of the best junglers to close out Season 15, ended up losing about 4% win rate due to all the jungle changes, which is pretty absurd. Aatrox, who was a really good jungler to close out Season 15, is in a terrible spot now. The one AD jungler who's actually excelling quite a bit though is Zed. Zed loves the new AD assassin items, as he can take Umbral Glaive and Bastion Breaker, and Zed has a super fast clear as well, so the fact that Scuttle Crab now spawns in at 2 minutes and 55 seconds, and a lot of junglers can barely make that timer if they full clear, it gives Zed a huge edge up, as he can clear in around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so he actually has a gank timer prior to Scuttle spawning, whereas most other junglers don't. Shaco is also another AD jungler who's been performing very well to start Season 16. We were worried that because of jungle camp timer spawning earlier that it would hurt Shaco quite significantly, but he did get a lot of damage added onto his Q and loves rushing the buffed Umbral Glaive, so those changes are helping him out a ton. So if we have a look at the mid lane tier list now, no mid lane champs were hotfix changed, but there's definitely a common theme among the best performing mids right now. So as we mentioned when covering the jungle changes, tempo is just up massively for Season 16 due to the home guard changes and the fact that they no longer have a set duration, so you're able to get back on the map and into the action after a recall so much faster. For this season, Twisted Fate and Aurelion Sol are two mid laners who are performing incredibly well. Both champions are extremely tempo based, as they want to be roaming, scoring a kill, taking a reset, and then getting right back out on the map as quick as possible to rinse and repeat. So home guards increasing your tempo for Season 16 has led to those two champs champs gaining more power than most, as their roaming potential is massive. The empowered recall that you get from your role quest just increases tempo even more, so it's perfect for TF and Aurelion Sol. Twisted Fate in specific is loving Season 16 even more though, because of the fact that he likes to play through the side lane and now gets access to more gold from turret plates. Minion waves spawn faster now too, so it means that you have more constant opportunity to be pressuring towers without as much downtime of waiting for the next wave to arrive. This minion change in specific, plus the addition of turret plates to tier 2 and inhibitor turrets, is really nice for a champ who wants to live in the side lane during the mid game like Kassadin. Kassadin wants to scale up as fast as possible, so sitting in side lanes and just constantly shoving them out either forces someone on the enemy team to always match you, or you just get greater influx in gold by taking tower plates. Talon and Kiana are two roaming AD assassin junglers who are amazing right now, not just because of the home guard changes, but also because of the AD assassin item changes. Umbral Glaive and Bastion Breaker are both really strong on Talon and Kiana, so you'll find both champions up in the mid lane S tier. Our theory going into the patch that more early game dominant mids would end up powerful due to being able to complete their quests faster hasn't played out. We underestimated how much progress you get towards your quest passively without even needing to farm or kill turret plates, so it's really not a huge window where the enemy will have their quest completed before you if you're playing a weaker early game champ. Cassiopeia also landed in a much weaker spot than expected, as the changes have been net negative, so it turns out that being able to buy boots is not worth the trade-off of hitting your core items slower. And then Katarina is not quite as powerful as we were expecting, because on the PBE wiki page, Riot had Gunblade lined up so that it provided both lifesteal and omnivamp, but they ended up shipping it to live servers without the lifesteal, so the item didn't land in nearly as powerful of a spot as we anticipated. It's just overall a pretty balanced item right now, so Katarina and Akali are both placed in the A tier as good picks, but they are not overly powerful by any means. So now, moving down to the bot lane, there's lots to discuss for the role, but first, let's take a look at the Nilah hotfix nerfs. So Nilah win rate shot up to 54% at the start of Season 16, so Riot has gone ahead and nerfed her attack speed growth, going from 2 to 1.25%, while Q bonus crit scaling is down from 80 to 70%. Even if these nerfs drop Nilah win rate by 2%, she'll still be a great pick, so we'll be leaving her in the S tier for now. With Stormrazor coming back into the game, another item slot added for ADC, and crit damage going up, Aphelios was a big winner, so Riot has hotfix nerfed him with his lethality per rank going down from 5.5 to 4.5. Aphelios started off the patch on an S tier level, but with this nerf coming through, we expect him to settle out as a very fringe S tier pick, but more realistically in the A tier. Nilah and Aphelios were the only ADCs who received hotfix changes, so if we have a look at the complete ADC tier list, we have a ton of adjustments to discuss. First off, Essence Reaver ADCs started off the patch incredibly powerful, and Riot has already hotfix nerfed the item. We covered the change at the start of the video, but if you skipped over it, then the change consisted of AD going down by 5 and cost going up from 2,900 to 3,050. The champions most heavily impacted by this nerf include Lucian, Corki, Ezreal, Xayah, Sivir, and Smolder. Draven and Vayne had been running Essence Reaver a bit as well, but if the item does land in a weaker spot now after the nerf, then they can more easily transition away from the item. We're not going to know exactly how much power this Essence Reaver nerf has brought forth until about a week after it's been live, so for now, it's tough to say exactly where the Essence Reaver users should be placed on the tier list. If we are on the conservative side, then at least a 1% drop in win rate is what we should expect for Essence Reaver users. With this logic, Smolder and Sivir should still remain in top tier spots because they were elevated up above 53% win rates prior to the item nerf. Lucian and Xayah were doing quite well at around 51%, so they are in danger of losing their high standing in meta. And then Corki and Ezreal were already in the dumps prior to the nerf, so we don't expect them to be very good at all. Ezreal especially was sitting below a 47% win rate, so unless you are an Ezreal main, then he's just not worth picking up right now. An ADC who should gain in relative power due to a bunch of these Essence Reaver ADCs dropping off is Jinx. Jinx has been the best performing non-Essence Reaver user so far in Season 16, so she's being moved up into the OP tier. Crit damage going up is incredible for Jinx, as her DPS and ability to take over in mid-game fights with a passive proc has become even better. The ADC quest definitely has not defined the meta as much as we were expecting going into the patch, as we overrated the importance of having it complete super fast. What we didn't realize is that you just generate so much progress towards your quest by existing in lane, so even if the enemy gets a bunch of progress by taking tower plates or getting kills, they won't have a huge window where their quest will be completed before yours. So early game ADCs are no better than they were in Season 15, as Ashe, Draven, and Caitlyn are actually slightly on the weaker side to open up Season 16. And other than Essence Reaver being too OP at the start of the patch, none of the other new items have landed in broken states, so it was just Essence Reaver that led to a power surge for a few champs in 26.1. It doesn't mean that the new items are bad though, as Fiend Hunter Bolts is looking like a solid pickup on Twitch, Ashe, Zeri, and Yanara, but the item hasn't resulted in those champs becoming any better relative to how they were in Season 15. So support was the one role that we predicted the most accurately going into the patch as to where the meta would align. Braum and Sona are both incredibly powerful right now, as Bandle Pipes is super strong on Braum, and then Sona is loving Whispering Circlet. Bandle Pipes was not hotfix nerfed either, so in terms of melee support supports right now, if you just spam Braum for this patch, then that's really all you need. The main theme with the support meta so far is that melee supports have seen a rise in relative power, while enchanters and mages have dropped off a bit. Popular enchanters like Karma and Lulu have lost around 1% win rate to start the season, while melee engaged supports like Braum, Rel, and Rakan have all gained over 1% win rate. Rel in specific has seen her win rate shoot up around 2%, and this is because she's able to abuse both Bandle Pipes and Zeke's convergence. Bandle Pipes is just flat out OP, and then Zeke's was buffed so that it now provides 15 ability haste for your R cooldown. So if you run that 2-item core on Rel, then she's a top tier support for 26.1. We still need a bit more data on this build to fully confirm that it's OP, but it's really looking like Enchanter Senna is the best way to play her for Season 16. You go for a very heal-heavy 2-item core of Echoes of Helia and Whispering Circlet. The main issue with playing Enchanter Senna last season was that she could run into mana issues pretty fast by spamming Qs in the mid to late game. Whispering Circlet being a tier item completely alleviates that weakness and allows for Senna to freely spam her Q off cooldown in the mid game for constant heals. So if you're playing this Enchanter build on Senna, we really think she's in a great spot and we'll have her placed up in the S tier. Alright guys, one last thing, our rank up guarantee is insane. It's like signing up for the gym and getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with top players, rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb easy. If you're ready to level up, visit skillcapped.com and see the difference. So there you have it everyone, that is a complete update on the solo queue meta as we reach the midway point of the patch. Thank you all so much for watching, good luck with your rank climbs, and we will see you in the next one.